Hey there, thinkers. Welcome back to another episode of Critical Hit. My name is S.
And I'm Pin, and today we're going to be talking about the controversy surrounding Unity game engine.
How it took them a week.
Yeah, how it took them a week to backtrack on what they were saying. So anyways, just if you don't know what's happening with Unity, just to start off, Unity has been a game engine around since I believe 2005. And they were originally used as kind of indie developer kind of game engine. It is expanded into bigger uses nowadays, but if you think any game on your mobile phone, if you think even bigger games,
Pillars of Eternity,
Pokemon Go,
yeah, that's one.
they all use Unity, and Unity has had a very good business model for people to use. So a lot of developers have liked using it, and it's very user friendly, I've heard, in a lot of respects. So what they've done last week was they changed their business model. It used to be it was free unless you made $100,000. That's switching to $200,000 now. And, you know, so much money you would make off it, you would pay a subscription model, and then you might have to pay a certain kickback after that. But it wasn't ever very large. It was just enough, let's say, to keep the lights on.
Residuals.
Yeah, some minor residuals. Mostly the subscription fee is what you paid into. But anyways, they're changing that. By Q1 of 2024, they're going to be retroactively, and this means going back from when you first developed on their engine, changing their pricing model. Now, every time someone installs the game, you have to pay them a fee, and that fee could be 20 cents. Now, this doesn't apply to all games, any game that makes over $1 million, for instance. But if you make over $1 million as a company, actually, it might just be the company using it. But if you make over $1 million, and anytime someone installs your game, you're paying 20 cents, that could be incredibly detrimental to smaller monetization for companies. So my thought process, I know there's a lot of bigger games that use it, instantly went to Carosoft. I don't know, if you don't know what Carosoft is, that's fine. The reason I know about it is because I was in the Navy and I had to sail without internet connection for months at a time. And I used to download games like that. It was just little sim games.
It was an offline game. It was great.
Little sim offline games, and game dev was their big one.
Little management game. Everybody likes it.
Anyways, they're really cheap, couple bucks. And so if you're going to kill them though with this install fee, I mean, maybe I uninstalled it, reinstalled it again, 20 cents every time you install it is pretty significant for developers like that. It's going to completely kill them. In fact, they could be losing money. I think someone broke down the math where they said approximately 10% of companies, between I think it was 5 and 10%, could be losing money with this new system. So now, this is what we're talking about. Unity's backtracking on that. Now, not completely, but not just backtracking. We're going to talk about what's going on with this whole story, kind of break it down a little bit and give our thoughts about it. All right, so let's get into the article. Unity reportedly backtracking on new fees after developers revolt.
Emotional, damn it.
So this is from TechCrunch. And just to get into it more, the Unity, the popular cross-platform game and media development engine, is on the defensive after receiving intense backlash over a controversial new fee structure. This one I just explained, in which developers using the platform decried as destructive and unfair. Now the company is reportedly looking to walk back on the announcement, at least in part. The engine is popular among independent developers as a way to get a game up and running across multiple gaming platforms while minimizing upfront costs. If a developer had revenue below 100K, it was free, while a plus tier took you up to 200K. So again, that's just kind of what I went over. It's going to talk about the 20 cents per install fee. So while selling 200,000 copies may be a dream come true for many indie developers, Unity itself estimated that around 10% of its users would fall under this umbrella, and there are also plenty of whom this fee could be disastrous. So suddenly a game where Unity licensing costs has already been recouped many times over would now become liable because they would have to pay additional thousands of dollars in fees for games they might not even be making very much money on anymore. Could put essentially indie developers or small developers really out of business in a lot of cases, which is, of course, not fantastic.
That doesn't sound great.
Goes on to say many popular games, such as Among Us, developer Innersloth said they'd rather pay the fees that they would take their games offline or delay further development in order, so they would, of course, they don't want to pay the fees. So massive backlash, of course, which is insane because most other game engines, I don't want to say they don't charge royalties, they absolutely do. Unreal, probably the biggest one out there, and as you can see, goes into it, charges a 5% royalty after 1 million in gross revenue. And that's the royalty based on revenue, not on downloads. That's a little different too. But Unreal doesn't promote themselves to indie developers. That's been a Unity thing, mobile and indie developers. And that's why it's been so friendly to them. So now it could be absolutely detrimental to them. But we're going to break down the story a little bit more here. So yeah, they're doing bad. And they did walk it back. They put out a tweet saying, sorry for the confusion, about our policy. We're going to amend it. And that's all they really said. I'm paraphrasing here. But I mean, there's no confusion. They were trying to grossly over monetize what their
Oh
engine
my
is. at the
gosh, they
moment.
were trying to milk the community for everything they got.
Yeah, and were they doing that? Absolutely. I believe they were trying to be incredibly greedy about this. So we're going to break this down a little bit more. So CEO has been blamed heavily for this. I'm going to go into this. This is the CEO. I'm going to butcher his name. John Rossello. And this is back from an article in 2022.
Good try.
Where he said, essentially, if you're not willing to monetize games as a developer, you're an effing idiot, is what he said. I think YouTube doesn't like the F word, so I'm going to refuse saying it here. But
So you don't get monetized?
essentially, so he said you're an idiot if you're not willing to monetize games. We, of course, as gamers, I think have been over complacent, especially in the mobile market where Unity really thrives, and letting them over monetize us. And I think that he's completely, of course, wrong in this, and he's taking a lot of heat for that right now. But I think there's more to the story than meets the eye here. So Unity did buy a company called Iron Source in late 2022, in November 2022. Everyone kind of hated it at the time. Iron Source, if you don't know the company, that was the one that was used to monetize a whole bunch of games on apps, or it was like a sub company that would companies would go to help monetize their games. Now, Iron Source was really controversial at one point because not their monetization that they did came as like a malware package. And so it essentially put a whole bunch of malware on your device you were trying to use. And I don't know for sure, this is speculation, but I'm sure they were looking to do things such as sell your data for additional money.
We're going to help you.
They're very predatory practices. It's incredible. And I don't know why Unity ever wanted to buy Iron Source. Now, John has been CEO of Unity since 2014, and I think the reason we never heard about him is because he did at least somewhat of a good job. Now, he was at EA prior to that, and I've heard stories that he was fired from EA because he was, let's say, departed EA. I don't want to say fired. Let's say there was some kind of departing of EA that took place there. But EA left with him thinking he was a little too greedy. And that's coming from EA, which is amazing because EA is, of course, known as one of the most greedy companies out there.
Yeah, they have their hands in everything. They're super greedy.
Well, they just over-monetize everything with loot boxes. They're the ones that were really famous for saying surprise mechanics. Anyways. So I think there's more to this than meets the eye, though, because at the same time Unity was buying out Iron Source for $4.4 billion, they were getting offered by Sequoia and Silver Lake. Sequoia is an investment firm, so Silver Lake, think technology investments. Sequoia being that of, one of the big blunders recently was FTX. And Silver Lake, think NFTs, if you want to really, but more than that, of course. But they're really big in the technology investment. They're actually quite large investment firms, especially Sequoia, who's almost in everything right now in technology. But they were going to give them $1 billion in investment, or a private stockholder share offering, if they bought Iron Source, which I always kind of thought was weird, but that's some backdoor deal they were working out. I don't know who got the money. Maybe it was a kickback to senior executives. Who knows? But at the same time, another big monetization company out there that rivals Iron Source was called AppLovin. And AppLovin, which people didn't hate quite as much, actually offered them $17.5 billion just to buy Unity. They wanted to buy Unity instead of the other way around. But here's the real kicker. So Iron Source, once it became bought, their CEO became a board member of Unity. Additionally, they also got new board members from Sequoia and from Silver Lake. And so I know John Rossello, again, I'm probably butchering that name, is not a good guy. I'm sure he's an asshole. Absolutely. Do I think this choice was solely his, though? Well, I think he's under fire for selling stock because he knew this was a bad choice. He sold, I think, about $10 million right before this decision came out, and he announced he was going to retire. And I think that has a lot to do with him being taken over by a board, going public, now being taken over by board members who may be even more greedy than he is. I don't think he's innocent in this, but I definitely think the board of directors need a better look at here. So like I said, I don't think just this John guy is innocent. I think he's an asshole, and he's going to go out as an asshole in the game development industry for what he said. But I also think that Unity is going down the wrong path, and I think even after he leaves in Q4 of this year, I don't think that Unity is going to be in a better place. I think that if you had someone that may be a little bit on the side of not going over crazy, because at least he had a lot of experience in the game market, I think they're going to replace him with someone that's even worse. So while Unity for now is backtracking, I don't think that's going to stick.
No, I don't think so either. And just to put on for another thing that you were mentioning, there is the Unreal Engine. that is kicking up some steam lately.
Well, Unreal Engine 5 is absolutely
Yeah,
amazing,
exactly.
but I've even looked at it and it looks like I could do something in it. So let's just put it that way. And it looks amazing. But anyways, that's
A game within a game.
a game within Gameception. But that's what I got. I do think this John guy has something, of course, his fair share of the blame, but I think that Unity is absolutely on the downfall here, and I don't think there's any big wave for them to come back. But I think there's more than meets the eye, and I don't know who got that $1 billion from Sequoia, of course, but at the time, I know it didn't go to the shareholders, let's just put it that way, at least not the retail investors. But I think this is part of a new trend for Unity, and I think developers are going to have to get used to maybe getting out of Unity and going to a different platform, even if they say at the moment they're backtracking from what this is.
Yeah, exactly. The cake is a lie.
Yeah, but that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, I've got nothing else to say.
Well, thanks for sticking with us till now. If you disagree with me, make sure you leave a message down in the comments. Please let me know a source. I could investigate this more if people want to hear it. Or if you just want me to go back to movie and game reviews, I can do that too. But again, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you guys in the next video.
See you guys in the next video. Toodles!
Bye, guys.